That's actually a really good question. If you're, when in the midst of crisis, a battle, a struggle, and what we're dealing with, what can we do to better enable ourselves to be able to manage through that? And one of the things I think of is a book by Marie Kondo, and I think the title is something like "The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up." And in that, she prescribes or talks about a way of decluttering our lives. And basically the question is, when we decide to keep something or get rid of it, we ask ourselves a very simple question, and I'm paraphrasing here, is does it bring us joy? And if we're unable to let go of things, as she describes in her book, it means that we have some type of an attachment to it that we're not able to let go of, and that generally is in the past or in the future. So while that works very well and very effectively, I've even used that in my home to declutter. I believe that principle can be utilized in our minds to declutter our minds. This can be especially true and effective and necessary in the midst of crisis and a battle, when you're fighting at war, struggling with something. Many times nothing matters, or a lot doesn't matter. When you're in survival mode, things that perhaps had value may not have the same value that they once used to have. In trying to reserve your energy level, again, you're in survival mode. Your back is up against the wall. Just trying to exist, just to make it to the next day, the next moment. What can I do that will help me? Just give me something. And one of the things that I've done is to learn to begin to strip away, I'll say, the extra weight if I'm tired, if I'm out of energy. And do I really need this in my life? Sometimes, and you've got to be very careful in those times, because you don't want to have that one, whether it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. You can be stressed out by a number of things, and it might be that only one small thing that pushes you over the edge. So when in that mode, one of the approaches that I've taken is ask the question, does this bring me joy? And that can apply to more than stuff. It could be a relationship. It could be a conversation. It could be certainly a thought, a behavior. In doing this, in engaging in this conversation, in listening to this gossip, in hearing about someone or something, being around somebody that maybe that might not be the best choice. Does it bring me joy? And if it doesn't, eliminate it. That elimination might be for a period of time, or it might be permanently. And that's for you and your good. Now, well, easier said than done, Nate. We've got people in our lives that we just can't eliminate them. And by no means am I suggesting eliminating people, or, like when we're decluttering our homes, we're throwing things out. But I don't have to engage in this conversation right now. I'm not going to sit there and listen to you berate me, criticize me, talk down to me, talk bad about me, gossip about somebody else, disrespect me. I'm simply, this does not bring me joy. I have the choice to get up and remove myself. So elimination can come through us taking the initiative, the action, the effort, and removing ourselves from the situation. Yes, when we declutter our houses, we remove things from our house, but there are situations that we can discard, and that's walking away from those. In our minds, I'm going to make a conscious decision to not dwell on, think about, engage in this thought pattern that I'm having right now, because it doesn't bring me joy. It's not adding to me. And that is a fairly good indication that now is not the time to entertain this. And some of those, never is the time, but especially in the midst of dealing with crisis. And we also have to be honest with ourselves. If gossip, talking bad about other people, some of those, I'll say, negative behaviors that are not becoming, that really wouldn't withstand scrutiny of a decorum, that lack in principle, that lack in a strong or a good character, then we got to check ourselves. In other words, if it brings me joy to gossip about somebody, to talk bad about somebody, I ain't right. That's not right. That's not something I should be even entertaining. By doing so, I am inviting things into my life that I don't want. I'm going out to the garbage and I'm picking up something that somebody threw away that, I know the saying that, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That's not what we're talking about. I'm picking up the bag of the most stinky, vile, rotten, thrown out scraps of garbage and bringing them into my house. Who wants that? Who wants that to be around that smell and the things that it can create if left unattended? So if we examine ourselves and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, gossiping, these behaviors, talking bad, thinking bad thoughts, disliking, hating others, that doesn't bring me joy. I'm going to get that out of my life. I'm going to declutter. If thinking negative thoughts, worry, fear, listening to those voices, that doesn't bring me joy. I'm not going to spend my time or waste it on something like that. It doesn't bring me joy. It's a really good litmus test on how to live in the very moment. Right now, this moment, does this thought, behavior, action, conversation bring me joy? If not, I'm going to remove myself from it and focus on those things that do bring me joy. By doing so, you're now inviting what you want more of: peace, priceless, joy, happiness, serenity, balance, fulfillment. Those things that are priceless, that you cannot buy, you're inviting those into your life. Again, one of the approaches and the tactics in enduring through crisis. Simple question. Stop and ask yourself, does this bring me joy? And if it doesn't, it's got to go.